Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here again to unpack some complex professional gear comparisons
That's right.
and distill them down into the practical knowledge you really need to make those big investment decisions.
Absolutely critical stuff for working pros.
Today, we are wading deep into a debate that's really been shaping professional photography for the last few years. Canon R5 versus the Canon R6 Mark II.
Ah, yes, the heavyweights, a very common point of comparison.
So the R5 that landed back in July 2020, and it felt like Canon just planting a flag, didn't it?
Oh, definitely. It was their big mirrorless statement.
Setting benchmarks with a huge 45-megapixel sensor and then the groundbreaking 8K video.
Yeah, specs that really turned heads. Pure ambition, like you said.
And then, about 2 years later, November 2022, Canon drops the R6 Mark II.
Right. And crucially, it wasn't positioned as an R5 killer or replacement.
No, it felt more like refinement, a calculated move.
Exactly. It didn't chase the R5's resolution. Instead, it seemed focused on perfecting the, let's call it the professional formula for everyday work.
We saw things like enhanced autofocus, a much better buffer,
That 40 frames per second electronic shutter speed.
and the unlimited video recording, which was a huge deal.
Massive. Plus, it came in significantly cheaper. What was it, about $1,400 less?
Yeah, a very noticeable price difference. So our mission today is pretty straightforward. We're unpacking a comprehensive professional comparison guide.
We're going beyond just reading off the spec sheet.
Exactly. We want to give you that detailed, nuanced info you need to figure out which of these powerhouses really fits your specific professional needs. You know, how you actually make money with your camera.
Are you the kind of shooter who absolutely needs every single pixel? Or are you someone who values efficiency, reliability, and maybe that faster throughput above all else?
That's the core question.
It really is. Because these are both exceptional cameras, professional grade, using that same fast DigicX processor.
Right, the engine's the same.
But they're engineered for, well, fundamentally different ways of working, different priorities.
So if you're thinking about a full system upgrade, or maybe adding a second body,
Understanding where Canon put its engineering focus in each camera, that's the absolute key step.
yeah, because this choice, it impacts your workflow, your costs,
Right.
probably for the next, 5 years?
Easily. It's a major decision.
Okay, let's unpack this then, and we have to start with the sensor, right?
Not always the heart of the camera.
This seems to be the core divide we need to hit right away, that raw resolution versus maybe low light power.
Precisely. The sensor choice underpins everything else. File size, processing needs, and crucially, how it handles less than ideal light.
So the R5, that gives us the big headline number, 45 megapixels.
45 MP. That's its identity, really.
And the R6 Mark II.
A very respectable 24 megapixels. Still plenty for most things, but yeah, significantly lower.
We're talking, what was it, 87% higher pixel count on the R5?
That's the number. A huge jump in raw pixels.
So who needs that? For which professionals is that massive resolution the absolute must-have?
Well, it really comes down to your output requirements and how much you rely on post-production cropping.
Okay, like commercial work.
Exactly. Think high-end product shots, big advertising campaigns, fashion editorials.
Things that end up physically huge.
Right. You might be contractually obligated to deliver files that can be printed, massive billboards, huge museum displays, measured in feet, not inches. The 45 MP handles that without breaking a sweat. No interpolation needed.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And beyond just print size, what about cropping?
Well, that huge pixel count gives you incredible flexibility in post, essential for certain niches.
Like stock photography.
Perfect example. A single 45 MP shot might let you pull out 3 or 4 distinct sellable compositions, and they all still have enough resolution for commercial use.
Right, maximizing each shutter press.
Or think about wildlife photographers, architectural shooters. You might need to correct perspective, crop in really tight on a detail. The R5 gives you that headroom.
And high-end portraits.
Yeah, where every little detail matters, fabric texture, catch lights in the eyes, skin detail for retouching. The R5 just captures and holds on to more information at that pixel level.
Okay, so for large output or heavy cropping, the R5's resolution is king.
Undeniably.
But, and it's where I think it gets really interesting, if we only look at the megapixel count, we miss the R6 Mark II's big strengths, right?
Completely. You have to look past the megapixel number to the physical size of the individual pixels.
It's not just how many, but how big they are.
Exactly. It's physics. Think of each pixel like a tiny bucket catching photons, catching light.
Okay.
The bigger the bucket, the more light it gathers in the same amount of time.
Makes sense. So how do they compare?
The R6 Mark II Its pixels are about 36 square micrometers in area.
36, okay. And the R5?
Significantly smaller, down around 19.3 square micrometers.
Wow, that's nearly double.
Yeah.
Like 86% bigger area for the R6 Mark II pixels.
Precisely. An 86% increase in physical area.
And what does that actually do for the photographer in the field, especially in bad light?
Well, that physical size difference, it translates directly into better photon gathering capability, more light captured per pixel.
So a better signal-to-noise ratio.
Fundamentally. Which means, in practical terms, cleaner, more usable photos when you have to crank up the ISO.
And that's the defining feature for
Wedding photographers, event shooters, photojournalists, anyone constantly battling dim, unpredictable ambient light.
What kind of ISO are we talking? Like usable results?
With the R6 Mark II, you're consistently getting client-ready images at ISO 12,800, and often usable stuff even up to 25,600 for, say, editorial work.
And the R5 at those ISOs?
It can go there, absolutely, but the noise will be more noticeable. Those smaller pixels just have a harder time amplifying a weaker signal cleanly.
Right, and the R6 Mark II's native ISO range reflects that too, doesn't it? Goes higher.
It does, up to 102,400 native, which is double the R5's maximum native of 51,200.
Now, you're probably not shooting at 102,400 very often.
Yeah. Hopefully not. But that higher native ceiling tells you a lot about the sensor's design priority. Light sensitivity and clean results at the base level. It shows who Canon built it for.
Okay, what about dynamic range? They both have the 𝐷𝐿 processor.
Yeah, top-tier processing in both. Now, technically, the R5's higher resolution lets it capture slightly more subtle tonal steps, if you're in perfect light.
Like studio setup or base ISO landscapes.
Exactly. When light isn't the limiting factor, you can max out that sensor's potential for gradation.
But what about tricky lighting? High contrast.
That's where the R6 Mark II often pulls ahead, specifically in shadow recovery. Those larger pixels hold on to more usable information in the dark areas. Meaning when you push those shadows up in post-processing, the R6 Mark II file will show significantly less ugly color noise or banding compared to an R5 file shot at the same high ISO.
So more flexibility when you have to rescue an underexposed area.
Precisely. Which is a huge workflow benefit when you're shooting fast-paced, unrepeatable moments.
Okay, so let's summarize the sensor bit. If your business is built on maximum detail, huge prints, heavy cropping, R5 is the clear choice.
Non-negotiable, really.
But if your bread and butter is capturing action reliably in dim, challenging light, the R6 Mark II's sensor design gives you better real-world results and cleaner files.
That's a very good way to put it. Field reliability in tough conditions.
All right, let's shift from image quality itself to capturing movement. Speed, focus accuracy, mission-critical stuff for action.
Yeah, if the camera can't lock on and keep up, resolution doesn't matter much.
This brings us to Section 2, capturing the decisive moment, starting with autofocus.
Okay.
Now, the R5 technically has more AF points, right? Almost 6,000.
5,940 phase detect points, yeah. Compared to the R6 Mark II's, just under 4,900.
But they both cover pretty much the whole frame.
Near 100% coverage on both. So the raw number of points isn't really the story here.
What's the key performance difference then?
Again, it comes back to low light. The R6 Mark II pulls slightly ahead here, likely benefiting from that better light gathering we just talked about.
How much better?
It can lock focus down to EV-6.5, which is incredibly dark.
Okay. Nanit 6.5 and the R5.
EV-6, which is still excellent, don't get me wrong.
But that half-stop difference, does that actually matter in the real world? What does EV-6.5 even look like?
It's practically pitch black. Think trying to focus by the light of a single distant candle. Or maybe moonlight for astrophotography, dark church ceremonies, dimly lit concert venues.
So that extra half-stop isn't just a number.
No, it's genuine utility. It's the difference between the AF confidently locking on versus hunting back and forth and missing the shot. It gives you that extra bit of reliability when light is really scarce.
Reliability again.
Okay.
Okay, what about tracking subjects? They both use Canon's deep learning AI, right? For people, animals, vehicles.
They do, and it's very, very good on both. But the R6 Mark II being the newer camera?
It got some refinements.
Exactly. It benefits from later tweaks to the core tracking algorithms. It's just the nature of software and hardware development cycles. The source material suggests it's slightly more tenacious.
Tenacious. How does that show up in practice?
Imagine you were tracking a runner and they duck behind another player for a second or pass behind a goalpost.
Yeah.
The R6 Mark II's updated system seems a bit better at predicting where that subject will reappear and sticking with them, even through clutter.
so less likely to jump focus to the background.
Right. If you're dealing with chaotic scenes, busy sports fields, crowded events, animals moving through branches that slightly improve tracking stickiness means a higher keeper rate of in-focus shots. Less frustration in culling later.
Makes sense. That slight edge saves time. Now, continuous shooting speed. This is where the R6 Mark II kind of drops a bomb.
It really does. Mechanical shutter, they're both the same, right? 12 frames per second. Respectable.
Yep, 12 pp mechanical. But switch to the electronic shutter, which you need for silent shooting.
Weddings, golf tournaments, wildlife.
The R6 Mark II hits a staggering 40 frames per second.
QWERTY, which is double the R5's already fast 20 frames per second electronic.
Okay, 40 fps. What does that actually mean for getting this shot? It's not just about filling the card faster, surely.
No, it's about probability. Statistical likelihood of capturing the absolute peak moment. Playing sports, the exact instant the bat hits the ball, the apex of a jump shot, a diver hitting the water perfectly.
Or wildlife, the moment a bird takes flight.
Exactly. That split-second critical instant. Going from 20 to 40 fps dramatically increases your chances of nailing that specific frame, the one that becomes the hero image for the assignment.
So it directly translates to better results, fewer near misses.
Absolutely. More keepers, less time spent wishing you'd caught it a fraction of a second earlier or later.
But shooting at 40 PWAs, that generates a ton of data very quickly. How does the R6 Mark II handle that? Buffer performance.
That's the other part of the equation. And yes, the R6 Mark II has significantly improved buffer management.
Meaning it can sustain that 40 fps for longer.
Yes, partly helped by the smaller 24 MP files, but also the internal processing. And it clears that buffer very quickly, even to fast SD UHS-2 cards.
Which are more affordable than CF Express.
We'll get to that. But yeah, it means less downtime waiting for the camera after a long burst. You're ready for the next moment sooner.
And speaking of being ready, we have to talk about the R6 Mark II's pre-shooting buffer. That's exclusive, right? The R5 doesn't have it.
Correct. It's an R6 Mark II exclusive, and honestly, for some types of photography, it's a total game changer.
Explain how it works again.
Okay, so when you enable it, the camera is constantly recording images to a temporary buffer before you fully press the shutter button. Just a short loop, maybe half a second or so.
So it's like looking into the immediate past.
Kind of. When you finally react and press the shutter all the way down, the camera saves not just that moment and onwards, but also that little chunk of time before you pressed it.
Give me a high-stakes example where that saves the day.
Okay, wildlife. You're waiting hours for a kingfisher to dive. The instant it moves, your human reaction time means you'll probably miss the very start of the dive if you just react normally.
Right, you're always a fraction of a second late.
But with pre-shooting, those first few milliseconds, the explosive start of the action, are already captured in that buffer before your finger even finished moving.
Wow, so it basically eliminates reaction time lag for unpredictable moments.
Exactly. Think unpredictable things like babies' fleeting expressions, lightning strikes, a bird suddenly taking flight. It turns potential near misses into guaranteed captures. It's a massive safety net.
Okay, the R6 Mark II is really stacking up as the, efficiency and speed machine.
For capturing action, absolutely.
Let's switch gears completely now. Hybrid shooters. People doing both stills and video professionally.
Ah, yes. This next section is often the deciding factor for them.
The video divide. We've got the R5's 8K ambition versus, the R6 Mark II's unlimited reliability.
That sums it up pretty well. Their video capabilities really push them in different directions. The R5 is all about that cutting-edge spec.
And that spec is primarily 8K recording. 8192 by 420 pixels. Why does 8K matter if most clients still want 4K delivery?
Two main reasons. First, flexibility in post-production.
Meaning?
You can crop heavily into that 8K frame to create a 4K image. You can reframe shots, add digital pans or zooms, stabilize shaky footage, all without losing final 4K resolution. Huge for single-camera interviews or documentaries.
Okay, cropping power. What's the second reason?
Oversampling. When the R5 takes all that 8K data and scales it down to produce a 4K file, that oversampled 4K is often considered exceptionally sharp and detailed, potentially better than native 4K.
And the R5 has better color capabilities internally, too.
Correct. It records 4.2.2 10-bit color internally.
Break that down for us.
Okay, 10-bit means billions of colors, which prevents ugly banding and smooth gradients like skies or backdrops. 4.2.2 means it samples color information more robustly than, say, 4.2.0.
And the benefit is?
Much more flexibility when you're color grading in post. If you need to push colors around for a cinematic look or match different cameras, that extra data is crucial.
Got it. Meanwhile, the R6 Mark II, it tops out at 4K UHD. Still professional standard, but no 8K.
Right. 3840 by 2160, which is still what most video work requires, but it counters the R5's resolution with sheer reliability.
And this brings us to the R5's notorious issue, overheating.
Yeah, the thermal limits. When shooting in those demanding modes 8K or even high frame rate 4K, the R5 has recording time limits to prevent overheating.
How short can those limits be?
Depending on the mode and ambient temperature, sometimes as low as 20 minutes before it needs a cooldown period.
That's kind of a deal breaker for certain types of video work, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Think documentary interviews that run 40 minutes straight, or event videographers covering a full wedding ceremony or a long corporate presentation.
You just can't risk the camera shutting down mid-take.
Exactly. The R6 Mark II, because it's pushing fewer pixels and is maybe designed with better heat dissipation for its modes, offers unlimited video recording time across its supported formats.
Unlimited. As in, record until the battery dies or the card fills up.
That's it. No arbitrary time limits imposed by the camera itself due to heat.
That is massive. That's workflow reliability defined. Set it and forget it.
It completely removes that anxiety.
Yeah.
Event shooters, long-form content creators, they need that dependability. Now, Canon did release firmware updates for the R5 to improve things.
But the R6 Mark II was seemingly designed from the ground up to avoid the issue in its modes.
It seems that way. It's inherently more reliable for those critical, non-stop recording situations.
And beyond just reliability, the R6 Mark II has some smart video-specific features, too.
Yeah, they clearly thought about the hybrid shooter's workflow, little things that make a big difference.
Like the dedicated photo-video switch.
Exactly. Sounds simple, but having a physical switch to instantly jump between shooting 40ft stills and recording video without digging in menus, that saves crucial seconds when moments are unfolding fast.
Instant mode transition. Nice. What else?
The automatic lens breathing correction.
Focus breathing. That annoying zoom effect when you rack focus.
Yep. That slight shift in magnification, the R6 Mark II can digitally correct for that in-camera with compatible RF lenses.
So you get smoother, more cinematic focus pulled straight out of camera.
Pretty much. Less need for fiddly fixes in post-production, just cleaner footage.
Okay, one more video point. Slow motion, high frame rates.
Right. The R5 can do that lovely cinematic 4K at 120 frames per second. Really nice quality slow-mo.
And the R6 Mark II.
It actually goes faster, 180 frames per second. But there's a catch.
Only at full HD.
Only at 1080p, yeah. Full HD resolution.
So another clearer trade-off. R5 for high-quality 4K slow motion.
If resolution at 120 fps is key, yes.
R6 Mark II if you want the most extreme slowdown effect at 180 fps, even if it's just 1080p.
Right. Capturing super fast action like maybe water splashes or explosions, where maximum time dilation is the goal, the R6T's 180 fps is excellent, even at full HD. Different tools for different looks.
Okay, we've covered sensors, speed, video. Let's talk practicalities. The stuff that matters on a long shooting day. Ergonomics, batteries, storage costs.
Section 4, operational workflow. Absolutely crucial.
Build quality first. They're both pro-grade, right? Magnesium alloy, weather sealing.
Oh yeah, both built like tanks. And physically, they're almost identical, and size, height, width, depth are the same.
But the R6 Mark II is a bit lighter?
Marginally. About 680 grams versus the R5's 738 grams, so roughly 60 grams lighter.
Doesn't sound like much, but maybe on a 12-hour wedding day.
Every little bit helps when it's hanging around your neck or in your bag all day. It adds up.
The big difference in handling, though, seems to be the top plate controls.
Definitely. The R5 has that classic top-mounted LCD info panel, like the old 5D series DSLRs.
Right. A lot of pros love that.
Yeah. Muscle memory. You can just glance down, check your main settings, shutter, aperture, ISO, without taking your eye away or lighting up the back screen. It's fast, efficient.
And the R6 Mark II doesn't have that.
No, it has a simpler top plate with just the mode dial and control dials. You need to use the rear LCD or the viewfinder to check all your settings.
So a potential workflow adjustment for DSLR veterans moving to the R6 II.
Could be, yeah. That top LCD is a creature comfort and efficiency tool for many.
Okay, what about actually looking through the cameras? EVF and screen quality.
The R5 definitely maintains its flagship status here. Higher specs all around.
It's electronic viewfinder.
A very high-resolution 5.76 million dot OLED. Super crisp, detailed view.
And the R6 Mark II.
Still a good OLED EVF, but lower resolution at 3.69 million dots.
That's, what, over 50% lower resolution? Do you really notice that difference?
You do, yeah. especially if you're critically checking focus, maybe punching in on the viewfinder image. The R5's EVF just gives you a clearer, more detailed representation.
And the rear screens, similar story.
Yep. R5 has a slightly larger 3.2-inch screen with 2.1 million dots. R6 Mark II has a 3.0-inch screen with 1.62 million dots. Again, the R5 offers higher resolution and a bit more screen real estate.
Better for reviewing images critically in the field, maybe.
Definitely. Checking sharpness, noise, especially in bright daylight, that better screen on the R5 helps, though both are fully articulating, which is great for video and tricky angles.
Okay, R5 wins on viewfinders and screens. But now, let's talk about maybe the most staggering operational difference. Battery life.
Ah, yes. This is where the R6 Mark II just runs away with it. It's night and day.
How big is the difference?
Because it's pushing fewer pixels and seems generally more power efficient, the R6 Mark II is rated for about 580 shots per charge, using the standard 𝐶PA testing.
580 shots, okay.
And the R5.
The power-hungry R5, with its big sensor and high-res screens, it's rated for only about 320 shots per charge.
320? That's an 81% advantage for the R6 Mark II.
It's a massive difference in efficiency. I mean, that's not just marginal. That's critical for anyone shooting long events, right?
Absolutely non-negotiable for wedding shooters, event coverage, photojournalists out in the field all day with limited charging opportunities.
Fewer batteries to carry, fewer interruptions to swap them out.
Exactly. Less weight, less hassle, less chance of missing a shot because your battery died at the wrong moment. The R6 Mark II is just built to keep shooting for much, much longer on a single charge. They both use the same LPE6NH battery, by the way.
Wow. Okay, efficiency clearly translates to cost savings in terms of fewer spare batteries needed.
Yeah.
But the cost savings seem to deepen when we look at memory cards.
Yes, the storage situation highlights the sort of hidden ongoing cost of owning an R5.
Both have dual card slots, which is good for backup, professional standard.
Correct, but the type of card slots is very different.
The R5 needs.
One CF Express Type B slot and one SD UHS-2 slot.
And that CF Express card is pretty much mandatory.
For handling the huge 45 MP files smoothly, and especially for recording 8K video or high frame rate 4K, CF Express Type B is incredibly fast.
Right.
It's significantly more expensive per gigabyte. A good quality 512 GB CF Express card might cost you 3, maybe 4 times as much as a high-speed 512 GB SD UHS-2 card.
Ouch. And the R6 Mark II uses dual SD UHS-2 slots.
Both slots are SD.
Both SD UHS-2, which means you're operating within a much more affordable and widely available storage system.
You might already have a stack of SD cards.
Exactly. You can leverage your existing cards, and UHS-2 speed is perfectly adequate for 24 MP stills and 4K video from the R6 Mark II.
So the R5 doesn't just cost $1,400 more up front.
It requires a continuous, significant investment in expensive, specialized CF Express cards and potentially new, faster card readers just to manage its data output effectively.
Okay, so that initial price difference for the R6 Mark II starts looking even better when you factor in storage media costs over time.
It absolutely does. But let's take that cost analysis even further. It's not just about memory cards. What else do those massive 45 MP R5 files demand?
Think about your computer, your editing workflow.
Processing power.
Exactly. Those huge files demand more horsepower. You'll likely need a faster processor, more RAM, probably 32 gigs, or even 64, maybe a beefier graphics card, just to cull and edit those files smoothly in Lightroom or Capture One without constant lag or stuttering.
So buying an R5 might realistically trigger a multi-$1,000 computer upgrade as well.
It very often does. That's the upstream cost. And then there's the downstream cost. Storage.
Archiving all that data.
Yep. A pro shooting 45 MP RAWs might generate terabytes of data relatively quickly. That means buying more and bigger hard drives for long-term storage, potentially paying for more cloud backup space, maybe even needing faster network gear to move it all around.
Whereas the R6 Mark II's 24 MP files are just easier to handle.
Much more manageable. They reduce the friction and the recurring cost at every single stage of the workflow pipeline: capture, ingest, edit, storage, backup. The R6 Mark II effectively saves you money and time every time you press the shutter, not just on the initial purchase.
That long-term total cost of ownership, that's a really crucial point, often overlooked.
It's a business calculation professionals need to make.
Okay, we've dissected the specs, the workflow, the costs. Let's bring it all together now. Match the tool to the job. Section 5, application analysis.
Right, let's pair these features with specific professional specialties, starting with commercial and studio work.
This seems like prime R5 territory, doesn't it?
Almost universally, yes. The absolute priority there is resolution. Clients demand those 45 MP files for maximum quality, large prints, and that flexibility for heavy post-production or manipulation in advertising.
Plus, the R5 has that pixel shift high-res mode.
Exactly. For totally static subjects, product shots, archival work, it can combine shots to create enormous 400 megapixel files. Specialized, but valuable for some. R5 is the choice here.
Okay, now let's flip to the opposite end, maybe. The fast-paced, unpredictable stuff. Weddings, events, photojournalism.
This leans heavily, overwhelmingly, towards the R6 Mark II.
Why? What's the driving factor?
Operational efficiency and reliability are paramount. You need that unlimited video recording for long ceremonies or speeches. You benefit massively from the 580-shot battery life. The 40p's burst helps capture fleeting moments and reactions. The superior low-light AF is critical in dimly lit venues.
And the file sizes.
Much more manageable 24 MP files mean faster culling, editing, and delivery, which is often crucial in these fields. The R5's 45 MP is usually overkill for standard wedding albums or editorial use, and the huge files just slow down the whole process.
R6 Mark II for the run-and-gun reliability crowd. Got it.
Now, the tricky one, sports and wildlife. This feels like it could go either way.
It really depends on the type of sports or wildlife you're shooting. There's nuance here.
Okay, lay out the case for the R6 Mark II first. The R6 Mark II's raw speed advantages are huge. That 40p's burst rate and, crucially, the pre-shooting buffer give you a statistical edge in capturing peak action, especially if the subject is relatively close or unpredictable. Indoor sports, birds in flight nearby, R6 II might get you more impossible shots.
Okay, speed and buffer favor the R6 II for close action. But what's the argument for the R5 in this field?
Cropping power. If you're shooting subjects that are far away, think distant wildlife on safari, athletes way down a field, the R5's 45 megapixels give you incredible flexibility to crop in heavily in post.
And still have enough resolution for publication.
Exactly. You can effectively zoom with your crop and maintain professional quality. If you've invested heavily in premium super telephoto lenses, the R5 sensor arguably makes better use of that expensive glass, letting you resolve detail on distant subjects that the 24MP sensor might not capture as well after a heavy crop.
So R6 II nails more moments of close, fast action. R5 lets you effectively reach further with cropping for distant subjects.
That's the core trade-off. Immediate capture success versus post-production cropping versatility. Choose based on your typical shooting distance and subject.
Makes sense. Okay, final category, landscape and fine art.
This traditionally points towards the R5.
Resolution again.
Primarily, yes. That 45MP sensor captures extraordinary levels of detail, texture, and subtle gradations, which is exactly what you want for producing very large, high-impact fine art prints. And the pixel shift option adds another potential layer of detail for static scenes.
But could the R6 Mark II be a viable alternative for some landscape shooters?
Absolutely. If your priority is maybe portability for long hikes into the wilderness, or if you mainly publish your work online or make more modest-sized prints,
then 24MP might be perfectly sufficient.
more than sufficient, often. The R6 Mark II still has excellent dynamic range for landscape work, it's noticeably lighter to carry, and the file sizes are easier to manage. It's the practical, efficient choice for landscape photographers who don't necessarily need or want gigantic prints.
Okay, I think we've covered the main scenarios. Let's try to synthesize this. It's really clear Canon built two fantastic but very different pro cameras.
Couldn't agree more. Neither one is just flat out better than the other overall. They're optimized tools for different priorities, different workflows, different budgets.
The R5 is the flagship, the peak performer, the resolution king.
It's for the photographer chasing the ultimate specs. 45MP stills, the potential for 8K video, that top LCD, the best EVF. It delivers the highest possible image quality potential.
But at a premium price and with those workflow demands we discussed.
Exactly. Higher initial cost, higher ongoing cost for storage and processing.
And the R6 Mark II.
That's the efficient, reliable workhorse. It's built for the pro who prioritizes speed, throughput, and dependability.
You get the 40p's burst, the unlimited video, that amazing battery life, fantastic low-light performance.
And all with less workflow friction and at a significantly lower cost. It represents incredible value for the working professional who needs results day in, day out.
And that $1,400 price difference, that's not insignificant.
Not at all. Which brings us back to that value equation. Think about what else you could do with that $1,400 saving if you choose the R6 Mark II.
Invest in better lenses.
Precisely. That saving could go directly towards a top-tier Canon RFL series lens. And honestly, investing in better glass often gives you a more noticeable, more significant improvement in your final image quality than the difference between these two camera bodies themselves.
Better glass often trumps sensor differences, especially between two already excellent sensors. That's powerful advice.
It's usually where the smart money goes.
Well, this has been a really deep, detailed breakdown. Hopefully it gives you listening a much clearer picture of where each camera shines.
We spent a lot of time talking about how the R6 Mark II's smaller 24-megapixel files save you money on cards and maybe computer upgrades and save processing time.
Right, the tangible costs.
But let's end with a final thought, building on that long-term cost idea. Forget the hardware and media for a second. Think about your time.
Your most valuable asset as a professional.
Exactly. How much extra time, your professional working time, will the R5's massive 45-megapixel files realistically add to your workflow every single week? Culling images, editing, rendering files, managing backups.
That time adds up significantly over the years you own the camera.
It really does. So the ultimate question for your business isn't just, do I need 45 megapixels? It's maybe, is the benefit of that extra resolution worth the perpetual drain on my working hours and capacity over the next 3 to 5 years? That's something only you can answer based on your specific business needs and priorities.